Dear students, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to run Proteus and how to build a simple logic circuit in that software. So at first you're gonna download and install Proteus, and after that if you search it, then you'll get this option, Proteus 8 Professional, or maybe some other version you had installed in your computer. So you can just click on that and then it will start. So yeah, so this is the first interface you will be getting after opening that application. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a new interface for my upcoming logic circuit. So I'm gonna click on file and then new project, and after that it will give me an option to enter a name for my project. So let's name it logic gates, because I'm gonna show some basic logic gates in this tutorial. So let's name it logic gates. So everything else remains the same. So after that I'm just gonna click on next, and yeah, everything next till it gives me the option to finish setting up the project. At that time I'll click on finished, and then I'll get this interface. Okay, so then I'm getting this interface. So this is the interface where I'll be building my logic circuit. So here you can see that there are multiple options to select from. You can see that this is like a basic Windows application, so file, edit, view and everything, and there are some other options. So we don't need all of those options, but I'm gonna tell you about those options which we actually need to build this circuit. Alright, so at first what you're gonna do is that you're gonna be automatically inside this mode. Alright, so this is called component mode. You can see that I have not selected anything at all till now, but still I'm in component mode. So by default you will be in component mode. So you can switch between modes, like you can go to selection mode or you can go to junction dot mode and etc. But by default you will be in component mode. So component mode indicates that it is actually indicating a mode where you can actually select your necessary components. So let me show you what I'm telling you. So here you can see that there are two different options, P and L. Alright, so we actually don't need this L button for quite a long time, I would say, because this L means libraries. So we are not gonna be needing those kind of libraries, so we're gonna ignore that for now. So I'm gonna click on this P button. Alright, so P means peak devices. Alright, so P means peak devices. So here you can see that I'm getting various types of options. Alright, so analog IC, capacitor, CMOS and etc. and so on. So what I will do is that I'm gonna write my desired components name, and then it's gonna be shown here. Alright, so for example I want to show you the logic circuit using only an AND gate. Alright, so I want to show you how an AND gate works. So since I need AND gate, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna write here primitives. Alright, primitives. So I'm gonna select simulator primitives. So I wrote primitives, and it gave me all the options including primitives, and I'm gonna be using simulator primitives. And after that you can see that there is an AND gate here, right here, and the description here says that it's a simple 2-input AND gate, and this is the diagram. You already know this, you already know about this diagram. So this is an AND gate. So I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna click OK. Okay, so here you can see that AND gate is already here. So for example, if I want to select another component, then I'm gonna click on P again, and after that let's say I want to select an LED bulb. Alright, so I'll write LED, and I want to select a blue LED light to be more specific. So LED blue, and you can see that it gives me the option to select an LED blue light. So I'm gonna click on it, and I can click on OK, and it will be there. But what I can also do is I can just double click on it. Alright, so if I double click on it, you'll see that at this side this LED blue light will appear. So yeah, I just double clicked on it, and here you can see that it has already been selected. So this gives me an option to just automatically put an item to that to the left side of my screen, and I can just go on and select another item from here. So let's say that I also want a resistor. All right, a resistor. So I want a 330 ohm resistor, so I'll write 330 ohm. So you know, the unit of resistance is actually ohm, so I want a 330 ohm resistor, so that's why I wrote 330 ohm, and it gives me a variety of options. So I'm just gonna select the very first one, and I'm gonna double click on it, and here you can see that I can see the resistor here. So till now I have selected a resistor, I've selected an AND gate, and I have also selected a blue LED light. Okay, so I'm also gonna be selecting something else. So for the inputs, I'm gonna be using a specific component known as logic state. So I just wrote logic state, and you can see that it gives me only one option, logic state. So this looks something like this one, so I'm gonna double click on it, and here it is. Alright, so that's basically it. So after I'm done with my components, after I'm done with my selection of components, I'm going to click OK, and here you can see that I have selected 4 items till now. So now let's talk about the placement of those items. So here I'm gonna be showing you 3 different methods to visualize the functionalities of AND gate. 3 different methods. Alright, so at first let's just show you the very first and the easiest method here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you method 1 right now. So let me just write it here, method 1. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in, and here you can see that I have written method 1, and this type of scrolling you are currently seeing on your monitor, this is actually done using the middle wheel button of my mouse. Alright, so yeah, you can do it. You can just move between alongside the interface here. So I'm going to show you my first method here. So you can see that I was in component mode, so I just went back to that mode, component mode. So I'm going to select the AND gate, so I'll click on it, and I'll just place it right here. So this is a simple AND gate. So you can see that there are 2 inputs and 1 output. So what I want to do is that I want to connect this LED light to my AND gate and experience the fact that this LED light, whether this LED light will work based upon this AND gate or not. So I need to connect this AND gate to my LED light. Okay, so let's connect them together. So connection is very easy. So you just click on the end of a component, and then you just connect it to the other end of another component. Alright, so this is just the basic way of creating a connection. So now to give the inputs, I'm gonna be using logic state. Alright, so logic state, I'll take 2 logic states since there are 2 inputs, and by default you will be getting zeros in those inputs. Alright, so let me just connect them together. So I have connected both the logic states to the inputs of this AND gate. Okay, so but still there is a fact that I have not done yet. So I'll need to connect a ground to this end. You can see that in this LED blue light I have connected only one end, but the other end is still open. So I need to connect something to this end. So what I'm gonna be connecting is basically called ground. So here I am in component mode, and to get my ground button I need to click on this terminal mode. Alright, terminal mode. So I'll click on terminal, and here you can see that there is an option called ground. So I'll click on that, and I'll select this, right, and place this right there. So this is called a ground. Okay, so we will need this option often, because without this ground component we won't be able to build most of our circuits. Alright, so let me just go back to selection mode. so that I can connect them together. So I'm gonna connect this ground with my LED blue light. Now you can see that based upon the logic of AND gate, this LED bulb should only work when both the inputs are actually 1. Okay, so you already know about this. So this is the truth table of a simple 2-input AND gate. So the output will be 1 if both inputs are 1. So based upon this LED light should only work when both inputs are 1. So we want to check this fact. Okay, we want to verify this fact. So to do this, we will need to run this simulation. Okay, right now we've just built it, but we have not run it till now. So let's run it. So to run this simulation, we're gonna click on this button, run the simulation. You can see that there are various buttons like maybe a song play, I mean like a media player or something. So this means stop the simulation, this means pause, this means advance the simulation by 1 frame, and this means just run the simulation at a normal speed. So I'm gonna click on that, run the simulation. So you can see when I run the simulation, so by default these inputs are 0, so that's why this LED bulb is not working right now. So let's change them. So if I change the first input here, so 1 0, it's still not showing anything. So if I keep it as 0 and change it to 1, then it's still not showing anything. So we have already calculated for 0 0, 1 0 or 0 1, still nothing, right? So this light should only work if both the inputs are 1 and 1. Alright, so yeah, so I'm just gonna change it to 1 and I'm gonna change it to 1, and you can see that this LED blue light is actually blue now. That means it is actually working now. So this is how we can actually verify our AND gate. So based upon the truth table, the output should be 1 if only if the both inputs are 1 actually. So here you can see that this LED bulb is actually connected to the output of this AND gate, and since both inputs are 1, that's why this LED bulb is actually lit up right now. Alright, so that's why this LED bulb is actually working. So this is how a basic AND gate works. Okay, so as you see that the simulation is still running, so it's showing me time, that how long this simulation has been running. So if I want to edit something right now, you'll see that I can just change the logic states. Other than that, I can't change anything, I can't do anything. Okay, so it's giving me a message like you can see here, real-time simulation in progress, press ESC to stop. Alright, so if I want to move something, or like I want to delete something, so then I will have to click on this button, that means stop the simulation. So after that I can actually delete or move my components. Okay, so this is basically my method 1, how we can actually show the output of an AND gate using a simple circuit. So let's move on to method 2. Okay, so this is my method 2. So in case of this method, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this connection. So yeah, I'm gonna delete this connection, and I'm going to add a resistor between this AND gate and this LED light. So I've already picked up a resistor. If you can remember that this is a resistor I'm talking about. So I'm gonna select that, and I'm gonna place it right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna connect this AND gate to the resistor, and then the other end to this LED bulb. Alright, so I just connected an extra resistor, but this circuit is still gonna work using a resistor. Alright, so let's just see whether it works or not. So I'm gonna run the simulation, and yeah, for 0 0 the bulb is not working, for 0 1 still not working, 1 0 still not working. But if I give both 1, and here you can see that the light is working. Okay, so this is another method how you can actually verify the output of an AND gate using a resistor in your circuit. Alright, so now let me just show you another thing. If you like to know that how much electricity is actually flowing through this connection, then how can you actually verify it? Well, so this is really easy. What you need to do is that you need to go to this component. Okay, so you need to select this option. So this is actually known as instrument. Okay, okay, instrument, so this option. So from here you will be selecting a DC voltmeter. Okay, so you will be selecting a DC voltmeter and you will place it okay, so I can't place it right now because my simulation is still running, so I'm gonna stop it and I'm gonna place a DC voltmeter into my interface. Okay, so this is a DC voltmeter. Now I need to connect this DC voltmeter somewhere to show you how much electricity is being flown every time I run this simulation. Okay, so you can see that there are two different ends for this voltmeter. One is positive and the other is negative. So I'm gonna connect the positive side to this end of the resistor, to the beginning end of the resistor, and I'm gonna connect this negative side to this end, to the ground side. Alright, so to the ground side. Okay, so now if I actually run this simulation again, then I will see that there's a number will be shown here. So let me just show you the simulation. Okay, so for 0 0 nothing, 1 0 nothing, 0 1 nothing, but 1 and 1, you can see that the bulb is running, and here we can see a number plus 4.99. so it's almost like tends to 5 volts. All right, so this is the general what can I say, this is the basic amount of volts that usually flows through the circuit when I run this simulation. Alright, so I can see by using a voltmeter I can see how much electricity is being flown right now throughout this circuit. So this is just a way to understand and to make your concept better, I would say. Alright, so this is this voltmeter is not necessary I mean, this voltmeter is not actually necessary for your circuit to work correctly, but this is just for your own understanding. So make sure that you know the differences between the components that you actually need and that you don't need always, but you can actually connect them to make your understanding a little bit better. Okay, so this is basically my method 2. So let's move on to method 3. Okay, so I'm gonna be starting my method 3. Alright, so this is method 3. So in this case, at first I'm gonna delete both of these logic states, okay, because I want to connect something else as inputs this time. I want to connect some switches. Alright, so if you actually work in our laboratories, then you will see that you will be using some type of switches in the trainer board. Okay, so now I want to use those switches. So I can see that currently there is no switch right here, so I want to select a switch and fetch it right here. So let me just go into pick devices and I'm gonna write switch here. Okay, so switch, and after that I'm gonna be selecting switching devices, and after that you can see that there are various options. So let me just move on to some type of switches, I would say. Okay, so yeah, I'm just looking for a switch. Okay, so I guess I'm in the wrong place, so I have to select switches and relays. Alright, so switches and relays, and I'll select this is the thing I'm gonna be selecting. So switch, okay, active interactive SPST switch latched action. So this is known as switch, so I'm going to be selecting that, and you can see that it is already right there. So okay, so let's just take two of those switches. So one right here and the other is right there maybe. Okay, so before connecting them I want to select something else. Okay, so I want to select something like power source. Okay, so since I'll be using switches, so these switches need a bit of power to run. Alright, because switches can't work without power. Your home switches, the tube light you are using in your homes, or the fan you are using in your homes, there are switches for those components, right? And those switches cannot work without any kind of power source, so we need power sources. So to select a power source, I'm gonna go into terminal mode again. So before we actually selected ground earlier, I would say. So we actually selected ground, so now I'm gonna be selecting a power. Okay, so I am just gonna click on that power and I'm gonna place it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna connect these ends of the switches to this power source. So let's connect them one by one. Alright, so one is done, and here the other is done too. So we have already connected one end of the switches to this power source. Now let's talk about the other end. Alright, so now I'm gonna connect these ends to the inputs of that AND gate. Okay, so at first I'm gonna connect this one, and then I'm going to connect this one, but our work is still not done here, so we need to connect some type of resistors. Okay, so we have already selected our resistor, so let's just place it right here. So maybe one right there and another one right there. Okay, so let's connect this end right there, and for R3 right there, and the other end will go to the ground. So we'll need another ground right now, so we'll not be using this ground. I'm just gonna connect another ground just for the sake of the clarity of this diagram. So let's just connect another ground right there and ground right there. Okay, so I'm gonna connect the other ends to those grounds. Okay, so now my circuit is done. So previously we have actually selected logic states, right? We selected logic states to see whether our circuit is working or not. So but in this case we are not using any kind of logic states. We are using switches, and switches need power source, so that's why we used a power source. Alright, so but this is also going to do the exact same thing that we have already seen. Alright, so the same thing but just done in a different way. Alright, so I'm gonna simulate it within a few moments. Okay, so let's just simulate it to show you whether this is working or not. So just keep an eye at this voltmeter. Okay, so yeah, simulation started. You can see that the volt here is showing 0.00 volts. Alright, so if I connect this switch, so okay, so right now this is 0 and 0. So for 0 0 there is no output, there is 0 volts, so 0 electricity is being flown right now. Okay, so if I keep it as 0 and change it to 1, so it's for 0 1 there's still no output, and for 1 0 there's still no output. But now I'm gonna connect both of them as 1, and you can see that this light will work, and there will be a change in the voltmeter. Okay, so 1 and 1. So this is an AND gate, and I gave the inputs as 1 and 1. That's why this output is working. The LED is working right now, and you can see that just as the earlier version, just like the previous version, you can see that there is 4.99 volts of electricity flowing through this circuit. Alright, so this is how we can actually test our AND gate. So I have shown you different types of methods here. So we have already seen like 3 of those methods. So all of them are actually doing the same thing. We're just simulating we're just simulating a simple AND gate. We're just seeing how an AND gate actually works. So a simple 2-input AND gate, but as you have already realized that we can do it in multiple ways. So all of them are actually correct ways. So hopefully you will practice all of the ways to get a better understanding. And if you have any questions, you can just ask them in the comment, or you can just discuss it among yourselves. But there are different ways to build up a circuit. There will always be different ways to build up any kind of logical circuit. So the more you practice, the more you will get better. Okay, so hopefully you will practice these different methods I have already shown, and you will get better day by day. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.